Okay, so hello and welcome to yet another Gaming Masters video. So, I'm going to provide a quick disclaimer to this video. I've not played all the way through the game. This is just our opinions about halfway through the game. We are just providing this review for you guys so you know if you should buy this game or not. And we're just summarising what we think and in some ways what could improve with this title. I really do hope you enjoy the video. If you do want a shorter version, I will have a link down below in the description to one that's approximately 2 minutes long. This gameplay was recorded afterwards, so there are no spoilers in the actual gameplay you're going to be watching on either of the two videos. This will be unlocking borrowers and stuff like that, side missions and stuff. There's nothing to do with the actual story content, so no spoilers are going to be given throughout the whole of this video. Hope you enjoy. Don't forget to like, follow, and of course as always subscribe. It is very much appreciated, and we shall see in the next video. Okay, so hello and welcome to yet another Gaming Masters video. So today we're going to be having another episode of our gaming review, and today it's going to be Assassin's Creed Syndicate, the latest installment in the Assassin's Creed franchise. This time it is 1867 London, so the Industrial Revolution, and I am here with our other fellow member of the channel, DGH331, and we're going to be providing a basic overview and review of the latest game that is for Xbox One, PS4 and PC, that was out this Friday just gone, and the 19th of November for PC users.
Awesome.
So, what is your overall opinion of the gameplay then, Daniel?
Well, actually, I was very impressed by the overall gameplay. They'd clearly listened to what everyone had said about Unity, and they'd gone back to trying to make it a bit more about experiencing the living, breathing city rather than trying to make it all about free running, because free running is great, but if you haven't got a good city to free run in, and if it doesn't feel like it flows very well, then you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I really do like some of the mechanics that they've added in this. For example, the grappling hook I find very useful to be able to get to the viewpoints, which is basically towers, so you can unlock the rest of the specific area. So if you've played Fallout 4, for example, it's bell towers, etc. It's a very Ubisoft mechanic of unlocking sections of the areas with checkpoints that you've got to reach to and things like that. Sometimes have puzzles in and things. So I find the gameplay with the grappling hook really good fun, and the movement seems to be fairly fluid. I've only had one crash so far, and that was when I was trying to spawn on the train, because that's kind of like your base kind of thing, and I spawned underneath the ground, and there were loads of carriages and trains and stuff underneath the ground for some reason. That's the only problem I had, and that was in the first hour or two of gameplay, and I've now put in about 11 and a half hours. So overall I'm fairly impressed with it.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with all the different things that they've added in. And as a note on the grappling hook, as a Assassin's Creed player, I've played all of the Assassin's Creed games. I love them to bits, but having the grappling hook with such an ability to go to all the way to the viewpoints is good, and it makes it a lot faster. But it kind of takes away from the time it takes you to climb a tower. It was always great to see how fast you could actually climb up an object to try and get to the top. That was actually one of the full synchronization parts in Assassin's Creed Revelations, where they had Ezio climb all the way to the top of a tower, and if you didn't climb up fast enough, then you didn't get the full synchronization, and it was actually quite a difficult one to fully synchronize.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play that Assassin's Creed. I played the first one, Unity, and Syndicate, and yeah, I mean, I enjoy doing it the older way in the games, where you had to navigate your way up to the top to be able to do it, but with this ability to use the grappling hook, it does make it a lot faster if you want to unlock the sections that you have in that map area a lot quicker, and at least they've left you with the option to be able to climb up how you used to in the old game, because some games would probably completely remove the ability to even do it manually.
Yeah, I think that was very good that they left it there so that it would give you the choice of if you want to go up, you can. So I personally, sometimes when I'm just running around, I will go and climb up it. But if I'm in a hurry or I've got one more thing I need to find, it's really simple just to grapple hook up to those areas.
Yeah. Now, earlier on, we talked about the combat mechanics, and the combat mechanics in this seem to have changed a bit in comparison to the previous games, and you mentioned that it felt a bit like the Batman Arkham Knight, because you were in some ways repeatedly mashing buttons, and you also had skill chains, so pressing a button, I think it was 40 times without being hit by an enemy, you unlocked an achievement, and they kind of adding that kind of skill chain kind of thing. What are your opinions on combat mechanics in this version of Assassin's Creed?
Well, in previous versions of Assassin's Creed, it's been very strike from the shadows. Combat is not is something you don't want to get into. You want to try and avoid combat as much as possible, because the more you get into combat, the harder it gets. And definitely, if you ever played the first Assassin's Creed, one of the bigger parts of Assassin's Creed in the first one was the inability to actually do combat. There was no way that you could walk up to an enemy and actually attack them. You would have to go and assassinate them. That was the only way to engage in combat, unless you walked up to somebody, pushed them a little bit, and they recognized you as an assassin. Then they went to engage you in combat, and then you weren't allowed to strike against them. The only thing you could do was dodge out the way. So after playing a lot of the Assassin's series, if you go back and play the first one, or just even play the first one for a couple of hours or something, you get into the flow of dodging and being able to get those combos better. So with Syndicate giving you that ability and trying to get you to get higher skill chains so that you can take out enemies faster, more efficiently, it's really, I found it personally really good to have that ability to go, and the knowledge just to go, okay, I've got the dodging down. I've played this in previous games, it's helped me, and it's going to help me here. So with the combat, it's definitely like Batman, where you have the skill chains and you flip from one person to another, and you've got to be very wary about what the other people are doing. But I think it's kind of tied in with the times as well, because in Industrial Revolution, Victorian London, you didn't have a lot of options to carry around a sword. That was just a no-no. You're not allowed to do that. You get arrested for it. So I think I think they've tied it in quite well, especially with Jacob's character of him being a brawler, a fighter, wanting to go out there and knock some heads together and get stuff done. I think it's very good that they've given you the option and made it a little bit of a focus for their combat to allow you to just go in, say, come at me, Templars, and just beat the heck out of them. because that's definitely something that's very different and a different take on the assassins as a whole. They did this a little bit with Edward Kenway for Assassin's Creed Black Flag. You had that option of you could just go in, attack a bunch of people, but you also were told to kind of tone it down, be a bit more stealthy, go in this way, try not to do this, try not to do that, and you kind of felt a bit conflicted with how you wanted to play your character. Did you want to play him as a brash person, or did you want to play him as an actual like proper assassin, going in, sneaking, doing all that stuff? And I think that's really good where they've split up those two kind of ways of playing Assassin's Creed of I don't have to worry about getting spotted if there's no one to spot me, or I can just sneak in, kill no one, kill my target and get out. I really think that they've kind of captured that essence with both Jacob and Evie respectively, and I really feel that the combat of using the chains for that makes him even a better fighter, because he's got the combat awareness to go, oh no, somebody's attacking me from behind, dodge, punch to the jaw. I think that's really good.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing some other side missions earlier on today. I think I was doing the child liberation where you're freeing the children that are being used as slaves. And I went in once and I wasn't being stealthy at all. I was just going straight in, trying to pull them all out and stuff like that. And I used my gangs, which you have, and they came in and they defeated two of the groups of enemies, and then I defeated the other two. And then I was like 2 enemies away from finishing it, and I got killed. And when I did it that time, I was going and I was just using the combat button, like punching and stuff like that. And that didn't work out particularly well for that specific scenario. So I then tried it again, but I went in all sneaky beaky like, and I went in with my blades and I approached from behind, sneaking around, stealth approaching them and assassinated them, and it felt so satisfying when doing it, and I actually managed to finish that side mission that time. However, there have been other missions when I've tried to go in stealthily and it's just not worked at all, and I've had to go in with the approach of being up front and kind of like punching them in the face kind of stuff. And it's nice that they've tried to make it so that you have the options in some missions. Sometimes you've got to do it stealthy, which is the way that they really want you to play the game, and then other times you kind of have to do the melee kind of action combat that you see in quite a lot of other games. And I've also noticed that by upgrading your character to higher levels and perks and stuff like that, it does actually become a lot easier. So mission I'm talking about where I had to go in really stealthily, I was a level 3 and it was a level 5 side mission, and I technically shouldn't have been able to do it, but by me going in with the stealth approach, I actually managed to do it. However, if I was a higher level, for example level 5, I'd have been able to do it melee very easily. And you can go in with many different approaches.
with both of the I think with both of the different characters as well, you can choose to be either or, and they both have their own kind of specific focuses. So Jacob's more of a fighter, Evie's more of a proper assassin, hide in the shadows, a blade in the crowd. But
that links into what I was about to say, where actually I was scrolling through the achievements earlier on today, and one of the achievements is for Evie, where you completely unlock all of the stealth attributes in the skills tree, and then for Jacob, if you unlock all of the combat attributes in the stealth tree, you also get an achievement. So I think they try and indicate that it is really Evie is stealth approach, Jacob is the combat approach, and some missions are locked, but some you're not.
I think actually with like the character skill trees and how they actually are, I think it's quite good that they've left a lot of things open. So I've been primarily playing with Jacob just because I kind of like his style. I feel he's very he as a character, he's very witty. He's very brash. I personally love his character. I think the character development for both of the characters utterly fantastic. The banter between them is perfect. Flows really well. I haven't had a problem with any of the bits of the story yet. So what I like with the characters' skill trees and developments is, even though you're playing as primarily one or the other character, whichever you feel you're best suited to. Like as playing as Jacob, you can go all sneaky beaky, like if you really want to. You can go all stealth. You can. I've played entire side missions where I've just stealthed everything. Haven't been seen, spotted, knives flying everywhere. Amazing. And then you can go in and just punch everyone, and you can do the same with Evie. You can just go in all sneaky, or you can just go in all punching, throwing, shooting stuff all over the place. That's just how the characters are built. I like how they're very well-rounded, but they also have their individual personal abilities, which make them that much better for that task, which I feel is really, really key to how to breaking up. I was very apprehensive about having two playable characters, but
they've done it perfectly.
The way how they've done them, utterly fantastic. No complaints at all.
Yeah, I mean, in sequence 4, you did actually mention Edward Kenway. In sequence 4, they've added a reference to Edward Kenway throughout. I think it's the last or the penultimate section to sequence 4, where you go into a building and there's some stuff left around in the room to do with Edward Kenway, and then you also can get an achievement for finding all of the hidden secrets in a mission to do with Edward Kenway, and they actually start to talk about Edward Kenway. So they kind of actually reference the previous games. I've noticed in some other franchises where the storyline, like it's a franchise, but they don't reference any of the previous games or have any Easter eggs like that. And I think the way that they've done it in this is perfect, because they're not leaving out the players that have been playing the franchise for years, but then they're also making sure that the players that are new to the franchise, a bit like me, they don't get completely confused because they're referencing a previous character from a previous game, and you have to kind of know the whole backstory throughout the whole franchise. So I think that some of the stuff that they've done is very good, and I'm really enjoying it. And the side missions, which I was about to go on to, I think that the side missions in some ways get a bit repetitive because they're all the same kind of stuff. So it's the gang strongholds, it's the child liberation and stuff like that, and bounty hunter and things like that. However,
I like the different ways. I also like how each different side mission has a different way you can approach it. So as you said, you've got the fighting one. You've also got ones where you can just go stealth. I've even found that some of them, if you want to get really very assassin-like, you can use some of your rooks. You can take them and go and say, go attack that guy. Just run around the building as fast as you can. Grapple up the building. Everyone's focused on the rooks, and you're just like, okay, there's the guy I need to take out. Run to a couple of buildings, jump down. Problem solved. I've done my mission, and that's, I think, is really key to having so many different ways you can approach it, because you can approach it from the old direction. And I really like how the level designers for each of these missions have gone in and go, okay, where's all the different places we're going to put it? If we're going to put this guy here, how are we going to force the player into difficult situations, or how are we going to make it so that they have like 6 different options? For some of them, I've noticed that for like burning the plans mission, side mission. You can go in. There's a way in the top. There's also a way literally just in the front door. You can go through the front and just walk in, burn the plans, and walk out if you're that good, or if you've taken out everyone around. But it's very clever how all of the different missions they make you think. Sometimes, yes, they can get a bit repetitive, but it's a little bit of a personal challenge to go, okay, I'm going to approach this in this way, or I'm just going to use this weapon for this particular side mission. So I like to challenge myself by going, okay, for this one, what I'll try and do is I will try and use my pistol to take out as many people as possible without alerting anyone. But I'll try and do it in such a way that it's effective, but sometimes it's a little bit difficult when you set yourself a challenge and it doesn't, and it falls through, and you go, oh well, that wasn't a really good idea. So you can do things like that. You can do different things, but I do agree with you how all of the different side missions are very similar. But you kind of got. You kind of got to think they're not master. Nobody's a master of creativeness. No one could create a completely brand new thing for like 13. There's something like 6 different boroughs.
Yeah, and different boroughs.
You've got to, and in those boroughs you have like minimum of about 12 different areas that you've got inside of one borough, and then you've got missions to put inside of all of those. You're kind of going to get a few repeats and the like, but overall, I'm really enjoying it. There's so much energy, and it's utterly fantastic. I've not had many problems with how the game has been running as a story. It's very encapsulating. It takes you in, it draws you in, and it makes you. I've really got to love the characters themselves straight away. There wasn't a very build up on what these characters are like, what they think, what they do. It was very straight in, we're like this, deal with it, and I love that.
Yeah, I mean, the side missions, as you mentioned earlier, you can bring in members of your gang, which are called the Rooks, and some missions do enable that, some missions don't, which I also find quite good, because then you have the balance, because some people would just go around and collect all of the Rooks that they can collect. I think at maximum you can have 5 at once, and I currently have 3.
But that
you get achievements once you get 5 at once, and if you bring in NPC characters that are going to be doing all the work for you, you're not going to be having the true experience, because all you're going to be doing is killing 1 or 2 people. You're not actually going to be completing the mission yourself. It's going to be the AI characters doing most of the work, and you're just going to finish stuff off. And it's nice that they do have the balance.
So
people to the franchise, so they can have a bit of assistance. But then you do also have to do the work for those side missions as well in some cases. Also, it depends on the level of the mission. So, for example, a level 9 mission, you're not going to have the ability to bring in the Rooks as often as a level 2 mission if you're a level 3 character, for example. Because they want you to do it, like, the higher level of the mission, the harder it should be. You shouldn't be able to bring in the other characters.
And I think they've really encapsulated that. I think they've caught the essence, allowing you to do that. Yeah,
and the next bit that I was going to talk about is the graphics, and I'm actually fairly impressed. As I said, I've only had 1 issue, and that is literally the only bug that I've had in the game. I mean, I've seen people posting stuff like ragdolls and stuff like that. That happens in games that are 2-3 years old, like Battlefield 4, when you kill an enemy and a body just goes flying halfway across the map. That happens in most games, and I've not had any problems with the graphics. And from a distance, they can look a bit distorted in some places, but that's only if you're high up on a building and looking out across the view from like the top of St. Paul's across the rest of London, you're gonna have a
Yeah.
few issues here and there. But overall, I'm fairly impressed with
Yeah.
it, and I'm actually, quite enjoying the overall gameplay, and the graphics seems to be up to scratch. I mean, we're on Xbox One, and I'm fairly impressed. I mean, PC's delayed until the 19th of November, no idea why, but I can imagine on PC what it would be like if I did get this game on PC, even though it is primarily a console-aimed game.
Yeah, with the graphics, as you were saying, you go up onto like St. Paul's and you'll see a little bit of grainy graphics on the distance. I actually think that from being up in that kind of position on top of like Big Ben and looking out over the city, that it's supposed to look a bit green and hazy, because you're not looking at a perfect world. You're looking at you've got to they've actually put in like smoke. Yeah, smoke, fog. I've even been there in the rain, and the rain is fantastic. They've done a great job with how they've done all of the different weather particle effects, and I just hope there's going to be snow at some point, because that would be amazing. But with all of the different weather effects and everything, I do think they look really good. There's some points where if you look on Big Ben, like the hands and everything, they do look a little bit voxeled, and it's kind of a bit sad to see that, but it's something that you're not supposed to really be up there for very long, because they haven't got any missions that are dedicated, that I've seen yet. There probably is one, but there's no dedicated
at Big Ben.
There's no real so I know that there's one where you have to climb to the top to get like a better view and everything, but I don't think there's one where actually incorporates any of like the clock faces, possibly as you if you're climbing up the normal way, because I've climbed up the normal way and I did see this is why I'm explaining about this, because I have seen it, but otherwise looking at it from far away you wouldn't see a problem, and looking at it up you still don't really see that much of a problem. It's okay, it's not the best in the world.
I'm gonna try and
but they do have like grime and dirt on the clock as well, which I think is really good.
I'm gonna try and slip in
but with the ragdoll effects,
screenshots in this video for you guys to see what we're talking about with the dog face.
with the with the ragdoll effects, so that's always been an Assassin's Creed thing. Whenever you've killed a Templar, or just killed an agent or an enemy of some description, they always fall into the floor or crumpled, and that's kind of how a human body works. If you stab somebody and they go lifeless, they're going to ragdoll, essentially. So, but with a computer, you're going to get some silly ragdolls where I think I stabbed a guy, he sloped over, and then his arm wrapped around his body, and they look really weird. But it's a computer, it's perfect, it's not going to generate everything every time, and it's supposed to kind of go with the vertices. So if a vertice goes out of where it's supposed to be, a computer won't go, it's a human body, it's not supposed to be like that. It will just render it, because that's what it does. So I kind of see that there's like a bit things, but it's a ragdoll thing. That's always going to happen with ragdolls unless they improve ragdoll technologies by a lot. It's always going to be like that. But no, the graphics, great. I love the graphics. I'm loving all the different textures. I like how the clothes move. I haven't had any problems with like capes or hoods or anything just acting all weird. They've got some of the great stuff down. I've really been impressed.
I mean, I've played, as I said, I played a bit of the first one, and I think I literally completed the tutorial and then gave it back to you because I borrowed it off you, and then I played up to the beginning of Sequence 5 on Unity and didn't particularly... Well, I got stuck, so I then just gave up, because that's sometimes how I feel with games. If it gets stuck and I've tried loads and loads of times, I just give up.
You need to pass and go back to it. Even you.
Black Flag I played, and that was the first game that was on Xbox One, and you can really see the way that the game has evolved from the first game quite a few years ago now. What is this? The 6th game? So that was like
Yep,
2008 or something.
6 games in this.
So
Yeah.
you can really tell the difference between the first game, which was 2009, I think it was. Let me just have another look. And then you compare it to the most recent game. In fact, Assassin's Creed was 2007. So yeah, you can really compare it between the first game and the most recent game and the game last year and Black Flag.
Yeah.
Black Flag, it looks okay on the next gen systems. It was the first one on next gen. It was an interesting concept, and it was probably ported over in a rush, etc. So it was possibly held a bit back down by the previous platforms. But overall, I was fairly impressed with Black Flag. Unity looked beautiful, however, it did have the few issues that we had with rendering issues, which went around on the internet. People thought, oh, it's dreadful, it's dreadful. I didn't have any issues with Unity, personally. But then you compare it to Syndicate, you can really tell that because they've had a full development cycle specifically for this platform, I think it's been 3 years, which is the typical development time for games nowadays. And you can really tell that they have put as much time and effort in it as possible to make it the best game that they can make for Xbox One and PS4/PC with the time that they've had and the engine that they currently have. I think it's still on the same engine that they use for Assassin's Creed Black Flag from memory. So if it's on the same engine as Black
I think it's the second.
And Unity, they've
Black,
really
I believe
maxed
Black
out.
Flag was Unity. Yeah, they've definitely put. And they then they used because that and Assassin's Creed Rogue, you got to incorporate that one. It's kind of a side one, but it still counts as a main storyline. But they've all really pushed it with Syndicate. Syndicate makes, I don't know why, but for some reason between Unity and Rogue, somewhere between Black Flag and Syndicate, something weird happened. And nobody really knows what. So it must have been like something in the story writing, but everybody kind of dropped off. And I personally, I feel that Unity, it dragged on. At the beginning, it was fun, it was interesting, it was new, it was French, but it dragged on. It was very French novel. It starts out very interesting and then just drags on.
Yeah.
Until you're fed up with it, and then you go, thank God it's over. But with Syndicate, I'm really enjoying it. I'm hoping it won't turn out the same as Unity. I haven't completed it yet, but when I do complete it, I am very sure that by the end of it, I will be going, when's the next one? Because that's the kind of game Assassin's Creed is. It's very, when is the next one? Please give me the next one.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, Assassin's Creed Rogue was very much an in-between game. And it's actually the last game that's going to be made for the previous generations. It's like a send-off as such for all of the players from the start of the franchise that might not have the ability to upgrade their system. So it's kind of like a farewell message. Rogue, I didn't play. Neither Brotherhood 2, Revelations, or 3. And yeah, I mean, Rogue, I didn't really hear much about it post-launch. I think it got fairly good reviews, but yeah.
I haven't actually played it, but I read up on it and I've watched a few videos, and I've played it a little bit of it, but I haven't actually owned it and played it properly. But Rogue is very it's a different one. It's more of following from the side of beginning of Assassin to evolving into a Templar. They played around a little bit with of that on Black Flag, where they had at the beginning, sorry, not Black Flag, on Assassin's Creed 3, at the beginning of Assassin's Creed 3, you played as Haytham Kenway. No, I get this wrong. I apologise to the entirety of YouTube. You play as Haytham Kenway in Black Flag, and you play as an assassin turned Templar. And at the beginning of it, you feel a bit odd. You're not too sure what's going on. I was very skeptical. I was playing it. I was going, "What's going on here? I have no idea what I'm doing." And then you turn out to be a Templar, and you don't, and it just kind of hits you, and you never really realise it.
Yeah.
But I think that with Rogue, they kind of did the same kind of thing, but it was more of a overt. You are playing as a Templar, and you get to see from their side. You get to see their side of the story, because Assassin's Creed, it's primarily the Assassin's side, and a lot of players, they like the Assassins or they don't like the Assassins, but you generally kind of like the Assassins because you played with them, and you feel that sense of camaraderie, but with playing as a Templar, it's different. It's a new take on it. You kind of see life from the other side, essentially.
Yeah.
But with Syndicate, I think it's very good. I love how they've added all of the different banter to it, how they've added a comedy side of thing, because if you take the characters of Jacob and Evie, I like to, when I was explaining this to somebody, I said to them, it's like taking Edward Kenway from Black Flag. It's like taking his jokiness, his jokey side, but also his serious love of fighting, but a serious assassin. It's like taking him and sticking him with Altair, who's a very serious assassin, blade in the crowd, trusts the creed. If you're taking them together, and then they kind of bounce off each other, and it's great. It works perfectly, and they really got the story and the acting and the voice actors themselves. They work really well together, and I'm very pleased with how they've done it. Overall, I'd say Syndicate is one of the best Assassin's Creeds. And if you are gonna pick it up, I insist, please do go pick it up. And to those of you who have played Assassin's Creed before, I'd say it's slightly below, but about on par with Assassin's Creed 2. And if you've played Assassin's Creed, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the next Assassin's Creed has a engine upgrade if the recent ones haven't, because they've stopped making them for last gen. I wouldn't be surprised if the next one, because obviously a year or so to make a new engine, approximately, and then they've also got to make the game after making the engine. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a new engine for the next game. I've actually just been scrolling through all of the developers for the Assassin's Creed games, and it turns out that this one and Black Flag were actually made by different developers. This was made by Ubisoft Quebec, and Black Flag was made by Ubisoft Montreal. And what I've realised is that the games tend to rotate as such and have different projects on at different times, even though it's still part of the same franchise. The different developers have different approaches, so I don't think that Quebec have done many, but they've helped out along the way with some of the other ones. Obviously the main developer is Montreal, but I've noticed that some of the other games have had other help from other studios, or have been made by completely different studios. So I don't know how many projects they run at once, but it feels like this one hasn't been rushed. I think Unity was rushed with new platforms and stuff and had to get it out on time. I think this one they've taken a bit more of a, let's make this the best game yet, and you can really tell if you read the reviews from IGN and GameSpot, etc. It's got exactly the same score that Black Flag had, and I own complete Black Flag, and a lot of people go back to Black Flag and say we love this game, it was amazing, etc. And in my opinion, this is better than Black Flag, and some people may start shouting and screaming at me, but Black Flag, I didn't really enjoy the naval combat as such. I might be a bit biased because I am from the UK, so I might be biased because it's based around the area that I live in, kind of thing, and I know what it looks like in real life, but I really do prefer this one to Black Flag and Unity and the first one. And if it's not the best game in the franchise, I would highly recommend that people that have played the previous ones, that they do get this, because as we mentioned earlier on, they've added some new mechanics to the game. It feels really fluid, there's no issues that we've come across that are really big. Mechanics have been upgraded. Side missions can be a bit repetitive in places, but still good fun to complete. The graphics look good, and we were just about to get onto the storyline, and we've touched on the characters with Jacob and Evie, but it really does feel like a really good Assassin's Creed game. No matter what, if you've been playing the franchise since when the first game was out in 2007, or you're brand new to the franchise because you live in the UK and you want to see their representation of London. I really enjoy it, and the storyline, which we're about to touch on, is really good. I've played up to the beginning of sequence 5, so I can't remember how far did you get on, what was it, sequence 3?
Yep.
Yes,
I've only played.
3.
I played up. Yeah, I played up to about sequence 3. The main reason behind me playing up to sequence 3 was mainly due to I got caught up in the side missions. I wanted to try and capture another area, another borough. Try and do some more stuff with that, all the different things, and I've managed to capture about 2 or 3 other boroughs now, so a significant portion of London is now under Assassin's control at the very early stages of the game. So I'm really loving that ability to just kind of freedom to just go out and take over certain areas. Some areas where they're a lot higher levels, I've gone in, I've tried to do a couple of things, but I've been completely shoved out. It's not on the basis of you're not allowed in here, mainly on the basis of I don't have the level or the skills necessary to get and actually do proper to do some proper damage against the opponents. So that's one of the main reasons for me not being so on par with a lot of people. I'm also one of those gamers who, instead of playing a game just to finish shit, I'm not one of those gamers. I like to experience the full experience of the game. I like to go in all the way, check it all out, make sure everything I'm happy with everything, and so far I haven't been disappointed. I've been really happy with everything, and it was well worth getting. So I really think that with the storyline that I've experienced so far, especially with the side mission storylines, when you're speaking to like Charles Darwin and Dickens, you're getting you're experiencing so much. One of my favourite parts is right in the beginning, after they've decided to go to London to take it back from the Templars. One of my favourite parts is Jacob has it in his head that he wants to together, and Evie's telling him it's a stupid idea. He wouldn't be good at it. He would just mess it all up because he's too hot. headed, and he's saying I'd call it the Rooks, and he makes it a big show of it, and her ending line before they finish finish that cutscene is "You're no good at chess," and that just sets it all off. That just
Yeah.
sets for how they're going to go on, and I'm so happy with it.
Yeah, and it continues throughout all of the missions that I've done as well. It's always, it's not tossing and crossing like
To
all
and
of
froing.
the time. Yeah, to and froing, that's what I was looking for. It's not to and froing all of the time, but you do have that sense of banter. Like, they are siblings, so they are going to have the banter between each other. They're always going to be taking the nick out of each other. They're going to know the secrets that you might not know, and then they reveal it throughout the game and stuff like that. And the storyline up until where I am right now, I mean, you're one full sequence behind me because you've completed sequence 3. I just done the Xbox achievement stuff, and yeah, it happens throughout the whole of the thing. And sequence 1 and 2 had one mission. Sequence 3 has 4 parts to it. I think sequence 4 has about 5 or 6, and then it starts to cut back down again, and then 8 and 9 only have 1 again. So they have made the gameplay and missions actually fit together instead than expand it as much as they did in Unity, as you mentioned earlier. The storyline is really good. You have the backstory behind all of the people that you're targeting and why you're targeting it, and the other characters that are mainly prominent in the game. You have the information at why they want to help you or why they're against you, etc. And I feel that I'm really attached to the storyline instead of being like in Unity. It was literally just another target kind of thing. You had to go and assassinate this person because they wanted to assassinate them kind of thing. It's done something that upset you kind of thing. And it really all fits together in Syndicate with each of the targets you assassinate, and the missions so far haven't been too hard that you've had to try and do it multiple times to be able to do it. You might do it one, two or three times. For example, there's one mission where you're in an asylum, and I tried that 3 or 4 times. I went multiple different approaches, and one approach didn't work at all. One approach did work, but I did that the first time that I did it incorrectly, and I didn't get the keys to be able to get into the room. So I then got beaten up by all of the security guard waiter kind of people. So I didn't manage to complete it that time, but then after I tried the other method of doing it, I went back to that method and actually managed to complete it, and I knew what to do, and I got the information that I needed to do to be able to complete it. And it's not like Unity where I was stuck. I tried probably about 15-16 times to do one mission, and I just couldn't do it. And that's what really gets me up in games, because Mad Max, I really enjoyed it. I'm stuck on a specific section, and I can't get past that section. And I've tried multiple times, and I just ended up giving up, because if the game is too hard for you to complete, and there is no logical way to do it because you haven't upgraded a specific bit of the skill tree and you're kind of locked into that mission, it can really annoy people. So I'm glad that they've made it so that you can have multiple approaches and the storyline all fits in together. And as we've done multiple occasions throughout this video, we've gone from the mechanics, overall opinion of game side missions, graphics, storyline, etc. And the characters you really do become attached to as well. As you said, Evie is very much a stealth approach, so you're going to be sneaking around and walking and like crouching behind an enemy and then assassinating them, whereas with Jacob, you're going to be all upfront, you're going to be wanting to use your melee combat, you're going to possibly do the odd stealth kill here and there, but you're really going to become attached to the characters, and the upgrades, you can actually notice the difference with the perks, and the characters just fit into their kind of skill trees that they want you to specialise in. So the stealth or the combat, depending on which character you're playing on. And I think that the characters throughout the whole game, including the NPCs that you don't interact with, they've been done very well, and the conversations that you have when you're walking through the streets of London, and you kind of like overhear other characters and stuff like that, it's actually engaging. It makes you focus more on the game. You're wanting to know what this person is saying like that. I mean, earlier on today I was playing, walking to a mission, and a character said, oh, where's the nearest tobacco shop, kind of thing. So it's Victorian London, there's a lot of people that are smoking, etc. And it's actually referencing where you are in the world, instead than just some random comment like, that isn't kind of related to the era that you're in, or not really relevant to the storyline kind of thing. And even though you don't really need to take any notice of the NPCs that you just see around the street, you do kind of like interact with them, and you're kind of like engaged with them. And the characters throughout the whole game are just really interesting. I'm quite impressed with it, I have to admit.
Yeah, I like how the characters work, and I like how I've explained all I can explain about the characters. I've gone through. I've told you everything that is my personal opinion, and if there are people who still are like not too sure, wait a while, wait a couple of months, wait till it goes down in price, but do not miss it. Even if you don't want to buy it and just want to watch it, just watch YouTube videos on it, because it's a great game. You may not like how people miss certain things, but if you don't buy the game yourself, you're just gonna have to put up with people missing stuff. So go out, buy the game, get it on PC on when
the 19th of November. But also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link to my first lit video, which is the first mission in the game. From the get-go, you'll notice the banter, you will be engaging with the characters, and if that doesn't persuade you to buy the game, as Dan said, just wait it out, buy it in 6 months' time when it's probably going to be half price-ish, or it's going to be in sales, etc., or on Black Friday, which is coming up, or also on the Christmas sales kind of stuff after Christmas is going to be cheaper then, so go and get it.
Yeah, don't not steep some sale.
It is really, really good, and if you miss out on this, you've missed out on a lot. Now, as I said, I'm going to leave the link down below to the first mission, which is literally no commentary. You're going to just be able to actually engage in the game. For the whole of the first mission, you'll be introduced to the characters before they get into London and the open world that you are going to be enabled to roam around from sequence 3 onwards. And I'm going to create a slightly shorter version of this video with just a section that's coming up, which is an overall summary of our review of the game so far, and just so the people that do want to see it have a shorter summary kind of thing can click on that. So if you have already listened to this or watched the overall summary kind of shortened version of the review, you already know what's coming up, but we're just going to provide an overall summary of what we think of the game in about 5-10 minutes long video. So overall, I think Assassin's Creed Syndicate has been a overall success. The missions are good fun, the storyline is engaging, characters are,
Yep.
are good fun. There's a few issues I think with the driving mechanics for the horse and cart, that we've never had driving
Yep.
mechanics in any of the previous Assassin's Creed games from memory, so
Only had boat mechanics. Only driving gondolas.
yeah. And they're a little bit rough on the edges, but overall I'm fairly impressed with the gameplay.
Slow down.
Combat has been improved in some aspects, and it really does engage with the player, even if they've been playing the franchise since the beginning in 2007, or if they're new to the franchise with this game that is out this year, based in Victorian London during the the Industrial Revolution. Sorry. So, what's your basic summary of Assassin's Creed Syndicate for the people that have joined us for this video?
Okay, so basic summary, straight off the bat. I've been playing Assassin's Creed since the beginning. I've been through the ups, I've been through the downs, but Assassin's Creed Syndicate, 100%. It's an up. You're gonna love it. Go out, buy it. Don't hesitate. Go on Amazon. Go on Game. Go on if you're watching in the US. Go on GameStop. Go to your
You seem to have
local store. Just if you are disappointed, I'm really sorry. I've tried.
Gotta go.
I've tried to give you all of this, but it's a definite buy. You're gonna love it. If you've been playing it since the beginning, like I have, you're gonna love playing it. If you're just a brand new player, you're still gonna love it.
Yeah, I mean, I really have enjoyed it so far, and I personally would give it a 8 out of 10. The reason why I'm going for 8 out of 10 is because the overall gameplay is good fun, the storyline is engaging, the characters really do kind of like make you feel even more engaged in the game. The things that I dislike are, as I mentioned in the earlier on in this video, the side missions can become a bit repetitive,
Easy
and
now.
in some ways I dislike the Batman-esque combat that you can receive if you're using the melee combat, simply because you are repeatedly pushing buttons. And if you're playing this on Xbox One, PC or PS4 and you play stuff like Batman, it works in Batman, but I don't think that the repeatedly pushing buttons works in Assassin's Creed. And I sometimes find having to push buttons repeatedly and having to switch between buttons multiple times, for example, press A to stun a enemy, press X to hit an enemy, and B to dodge an enemy, and Y to dodge a bullet. Okay, using all of the buttons and it keeps you active, but I do find it quite annoying when you're repeatedly having to push the same button again and again and again, and if you have 6 enemies with you, that's going to be pushing the button repeatedly for approximately 2-3 minutes to kill all of the enemies, and I do sometimes find that form of combat very annoying. But you do have the option to go in and literally kill them with one hit as such if you are going in the stealth approach.
Yeah.
What would your rating of the game be?
I'd have to agree. I think I'd increase it a little bit though. I'd say it's about an 8.5. I'd say the only reason why I give it that +5 is just because of the great story writing of flipping both of the characters bouncing off each other, just the love-hate relationship of siblings. And if you have siblings, or you're the older or the younger sibling, you'll relate to if you're the older sibling, you'll relate to Evie. If you're the younger sibling, you'll definitely relate to Jacob with with all the different aspects. So I'd definitely say this is a great game. I'd go out and buy it. As I've said, just go out and get it. Just get it. Don't hesitate. The words of the great Sheila Booth. Just do it.
So for all of the people that are watching this video, we're gonna wrap this video up. Thank you for watching this 57-ish minute video, or 7-ish minute video if you've seen the summarized version. Assassin's Creed Syndicate is 1867 Victorian London, using the Industrial Revolution as its base. It's out on the 23rd of October for Xbox One and PS4, and will be out on the 19th of November for all PC users. I really do hope you have enjoyed this Gaming Masters video. Don't forget to like, follow, and of course, as always, subscribe. It's very much appreciated, and both of us shall see you very shortly in the next video, most likely for some Halo 5 Guardians, which is out on Tuesday for Xbox One users.
Can't wait.
Yeah, see you soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are Evie and Jacob Fry. And as of this moment, you all work for us.